Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about creator first offers. At the end of the day, creators are the most important thing when it comes to TikTok Shop for your brand. If you can master talking to creators, you are going to be absolutely ahead of 99% of the brands. Most brands don't understand how to talk to creators. I think that the majority of us grew up in Facebook land, and it's almost like you're just sort of like talking to the robot and you're buying ads and then everyone's arguing over different ads. By the way, I'm going to be hosting / moderating with Nick Shackelford on Friday. I'll invite everyone who's on this as well to see, and that'll be posted on YouTube as well, into a lively Facebook ads debate with Charlie T, Professor Charlie T. If you guys have followed him for any amount of time, he is very controversial when it comes to this space. I love his methodology, absolutely love his methodology. We have been using it actually at Social Commerce Club for the last two and a half years with previous agency and now Social Commerce Club on Meta specifically. And let me tell you, Charlie knows what he's talking about. And he's going to be going up against Jordan Menard, who is a prolific Facebook media buyer as well. We're going to be talking all about how to scale to $100,000 a day. I know that might be a little bit beyond where some of you guys are right now when it comes to ad spend, but we're going to be talking about what it actually takes. Do you actually need insane creative diversity to be able to do that? So join me on Friday for that one. All right, before we get into creator first offers, I'm going to be getting into, and remember, if you guys are watching this live right now, please feel free to drop questions in. I love answering them kind of as we go. We've got an hour here and I'm really looking forward to getting into this. Before that, there are tons and tons of updates on TikTok Shop, and I am super excited to get into some of those for you guys. So let me get into that here for you guys. There's probably a ton of updates that nobody really knows about, but luckily we have a very, very good in with TikTok, and I will be getting into those right now. And again, any questions that you guys put down there, I'm going to try to get to. I know in previous sessions I haven't been able to get into anything, but I'm going to try and get into as much as possible today. So number one, what has changed over the last few months? Some of you guys might know this, but I think some of this is going to be new for some of you guys here. So number one, GMV Max is the primary shop ads campaign type. Again, I think that we've gone through that on this. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, or even for any of you guys out there right now, you guys can go ahead and check out previous videos that I've done on GMV Max. I'm going to try and do an updated version as well on GMV Max. I recently did like an hour session where we went through every single knob that you can turn within GMV Max, which is just great. So let's see what else we have here. There's a couple. Okay, there's a bunch of stuff here. I'm going to just try and pick out like what actually matters for us today. Merchandising and pricing. So combined listings. So group related SKUs, variance bundles on one PDP. That is really important for everyone to understand. For us, we were doing a bunch of different ways at Social Commerce Club, the agency that I run. We were doing a bunch of different ways to actually try to do that underneath one SKU. Right now we can combine a bunch of those together and bundle them in one PDP. This is super important. Kind of along that similar lines is there's creative exclusive pricing. So live only discounts that don't break your 14-day price rules anywhere else, which is really great if you want to get specific creators doing lives for you. So that's another really super important part for you guys to know. And again, ask any like follow-up questions or anything like that you want in the comments. And if you guys are watching this on YouTube, feel free to ask them down in the comments below. I do try and get back to all of those usually within about 24 hours if I'm able to. Follower coupons. This is great. This is auto issued to followers. Again, TikTok Shop is creating a bunch of like CRM options, which is really awesome. We're actually getting our retention team at Social Commerce Club. If you guys don't know, at our agency, we actually run like complete full service. Basically every single platform. You guys probably just know me as like the TikTok Shop guy. Really, at the end of the day, I just like love D2C, owned a bunch of brands, and that is what I'm really obsessed with, is like trying to figure all of that out and how it all works omni-channel. By the way, going to be launching, it looks like within the month, going to be launching our new analytics platform called Halo. That's really like the first omni-channel halo measurement tool out in the space. The other really cool thing about it is that we are trying to go incredibly cheap for everyone, which is great after you guys have probably, worked with some of the bigger analytics tools out there. I won't mention their names. Rhymes with Shripple Shrail. We're going to be going like a tenth of the price of them, which is really fun. And taking a bit of a different look at things because of this omni-channel view. But really, let's go back to this follower coupon idea. I really find this incredibly interesting. How much CRM type things TikTok Shop is doing. I'm looking forward to seeing. I was actually hoping to have Bora from Reacher on to talk about what they're doing right now to be able to build into the CRM, because I think that that's really, really important on the customer angle as well. As we're able to get people back and be able to actually send DMs through a CRM type system is really, really important for TikTok Shop to kind of be that next level. And again, taking it really past Amazon and what Amazon actually has, and the very, very limited things that you can do on Amazon versus what you can do within TikTok Shop, which is really, really interesting. I guess, again, retention, this is something that I think that we all have already seen that was in beta quite a while ago, but product subscription, subscribe and save. So platform native 5 to 20% discounts. Right now it's in limited categories still, but it is rolling out access. If you guys want to try to get access to it and you're a little bit of a bigger brand, please feel free to reach out to me. We have like just crazy amounts of access at TikTok Shop, just with, being, I don't know if you guys know, I posted about this on Twitter, but we are one of the top 5 agencies in 3 different categories in all of North America. So we do get a lot of really great access to that. So really pumped to share some of this stuff with you guys as well. Okay, a couple more things here. I've got a bunch of updates, and I think that this is really going to be helpful for you guys actually understanding exactly what to do. So creators and affiliates, we have creator live flash sales, timed inventory tied deals during lives, which is really, really great. Let me get into the logistics part of things here. Let me just see where. Okay, so here's one really, really big deal is that TikTok is getting a lot more anal when it comes to actually fulfillment, and they will penalize you when it comes to that. So my biggest suggestion, and I didn't say this before, but I really think that we're at this level now, is to move your best sellers on TikTok Shop. So if you're starting to get some really good traction on things, moving your best sellers to Fulfilled by TikTok is a really, really good idea. And then keep seller shipments for, and again, if there's any like big brands watching this, I would keep multi-channel fulfillment. So that's where you're going to be using your Amazon and your sort of different multi-channel, mostly Amazon FBA, actually as your fulfillment device. I would use that for some of your like long tail, limited time testing sort of SKUs out there. And again, take a look at some of the previous videos that I've done when it comes to that. So before Q4, I guess we're in Q4 now, just make sure that all of your trademarks, your packaging, your everything, like your tracking is like on point. I think that that's really, really important. So those are some of the big things that that have happened. There's a bunch new creator operations kind of stuff as well that you guys can do, and stuff that I'm going to get into in another talk. But today I really want to get into creators and that. So I'm just going to get into 2 quick questions here first, and then I'm going to get into a little bit more of what I wanted to talk about today. So does product market fit matter when you're pitching offers to creators and whether they want to work with you or not? Absolutely. So Kath, I would actually say that this is probably the most important thing of anything here, is that, remember, I think that like the guiding principle behind all of this is that creators want to know that they are going to be able to make money. I've joked around before saying that TikTok Shop is really like the, Gen Z millennial version of multi-level marketing, right? And so the whole idea with multi-level marketing is that people want to know, can they actually make money or not from your product? And so if your product is proven to have product market fit, then absolutely they are going to want to work with you. And actually proving out that you have product market fit is really, really important, especially if you're brand new on TikTok Shop. Telling people and just giving them like that little hint, right? It's always like these little hints. You don't need to be like obvious about it or crazy about it, but just letting them know like, hey, by the way, we have we have sold 1 million bottles of this serum over here on Amazon. We're new to TikTok Shop, but we already have product market fit. I think this is going to crush on Amazon on TikTok Shop because of this and this and this. That's really, really important to be able to let creators know. The biggest thing in this presentation is, or in this talk that I want to give today, is that you are, as a brand, right? If you can change your mindset when you go into TikTok Shop, that you are not selling to customers on TikTok Shop, you are selling to creators. And that's the most important part of all of this, right? If you can understand that, you are going to be ahead of 99% of the brands, right? Just sell to creators. And today we're going to talk about how you sell to creators, right? What does that actually look like? And how do you do it? All right, I'm going to get into one more question here. Actually, I've got a couple more questions. This is fun. I love doing this. I hope you guys understand how much I love doing this. Somebody on my team was like, hey, Tord, I could take over some of your presentations here for you if you want while you have your baby. I'm like, no, this is what I love doing. Can you talk about how to create a bundle that combines different brands beyond your portfolio to increase GMV? So I wanted to put that question up there because I cannot talk about that. That is a really, really good question. And I don't know. That is a very good question. You would have to have access to those. Nivi, let me get back to that. I'm going to actually put that on my sort of general kind of questions of things that I don't know. So yeah. All right. What would you suggest to pitch? What would you suggest the pitch is to a creator when you are launching a new product to the market with no sales history behind it? Awesome question. That is a very, very, really, really good question. So kind of similar to what I talked about there before with product market fit. If it is a brand new product to the market with no sales history behind it, what I would do is first I would latch on. Now, there's this concept that I want to bring to you guys here, and the concept is a barnacle on a whale, right? And so oftentimes, right, there are whale products within a category, right? If you can be the barnacle on that whale and differentiate yourself from that whale in some sort of way, that is the very first thing that I would do. It'd be like, hey, do you know that XXX product? I don't know why I said XXX, but do you know that particular product? So let's just say, for instance, hey, do you know Lululemon leggings? I don't know why I always use them as an example. I want them to come and work with us. So I've tried as much as I can to get Lulu. Do you know those Lululemon leggings? Do you know that they are made of, 99% plastic, and it actually is absolutely killing most women's endocrine systems? Again, don't know if that's true or not. Just making something up here. Well, this is actually stuff I've heard, but I don't know if it's true or not. This is gonna be a fun one today. So those leggings, right? Awesome. We actually made leggings that are made from 100% bamboo that look and feel the exact same way, but are made from bamboo. We would love for you to try these. I think that these are going to take off and be absolutely viral on TikTok Shop. That is what I would do for something like that is really try to be like the barnacle on the whale, right? Lulu's the whale. Your leggings come in as the barnacle. If you can do that and you can make comparisons like that, it's a really, really good concept. Really similar to the same kind of concept that you'd use with like the Uber of, the Netflix of, right? That's always being a barnacle on a whale, where you are trying to show people that whale that's out there, and then you're the barnacle. All right. Sam asks, can I create bundles in TikTok Shop that come through as separate SKUs for our 3PL? Sam, that is such a question, and I believe that you can within the background. I would have to ask my operations team exactly how to do that, because I don't know. I can't walk you through exactly step by step how to do that. But Sam, if you want to reach out to me afterwards, I can see, and I think I would actually just ask Aftership if you're able to split those in. I'm pretty sure that you can, very similar to like bundling on any of the bundle apps on Shopify, where it splits them up into into separate items that for pick, pack, and ship. That is most likely the way that I would do it with that. If AfterShip doesn't have a good way to do it, contact our team, and we mostly work with Shopdance, and Shopdance is a really, really good partner there. AfterShip is great too. Those are kind of my two biggest ones that I suggest for people. So, all right, great questions so far, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's get into this here. All right, so again, creator sales are the most important thing. Now, if you guys are interested in understanding what a high GMV creator wants, go back onto my YouTube channel, and on there I put one of my specific talks with Anna Casey, who is somebody who worked with us for a long time at Social Commerce Club. Anna Casey is absolutely awesome and really gave a lot of really good advice for what people actually want. And I'm going to go through some of that today because I think that everyone has to understand what some of the non-negotiables are when it comes to what creators actually want today. And that's part of this, right? I think one of the really big things that I want everyone to understand is that these creators, yes, they are making money on TikTok Shop, but at the same time, these creators want to know that they're able to work with you beyond just TikTok Shop. Now, if you're just a TikTok Shop brand, I totally get it. We're actually working with some brands right now that are actually entering massive categories, like huge areas, like brand new places just on TikTok Shop before they even launch D2C or Amazon, which is really, really interesting. And so if you are able to really find creators that want to work with you in that sort of way and want to go deep with you in that sort of way, that is where you're going to be incredibly successful. All right, let's get into this here. All right. So what is a high GMV creator? Who are they and why is it important? So number one, there's not a ton of high GMV creators out there. So just so you guys have an idea, like I believe, oh man, I'm going to screw this number up, but I believe it's around 2.3 million creators that are signed up on TikTok Shop right now. TikTok Shop is really like the 80-20 of the 80-20 of the 80-20. There are not a lot of high GMV creators out there. These are consistent sellers, not one-hit viral wonders. These are people that are consistently selling every single month. These are creators that generate at least 50K of GMV per month. Most of them, though, are like well into like 100K GMV. These guys are not chasing virality. They are legitimately running a business. When you see how they actually have the setup, and I think that'd be really important for you guys to actually go and try and find some of them like on Twitter, on TikTok, go and take a look at like what they're actually doing. These are businesses. These people are just using themselves really as the person out there. It's like this mini studio that most of them have set up where they have figured out ways to talk about products. They have figured out hooks better than any of us brands have ever figured out hooks. It's absolutely phenomenal when you actually see what they're able to do. They talk to each other constantly. And that's something that everyone needs to understand. Do not at any point try to screw over a creator. The creators are your customers. Think of them as like your VIP customers that you are trying to do. Now, what is screwing over a creator? Okay. This I've seen from really big brands and brands that were doing like really good numbers and then suddenly dropped the percentage of revenue that they were giving to creators just out of the blue. Do not do that. If you already have an affiliate revenue set up for certain creators, you have to keep that. Do not just drop that, and especially don't drop it for ads if that's something that you haven't been doing. So like that number one, like, so I'm just going to kind of give you like, here's the landmines to look out for. So a bad experience with your brand will actually become common knowledge in all of these categories. So we see it within all of these creator communities. We see this spread like wildfire. How do I know? Well, when we go to events, what I'm hearing people talk about with creators. So like there's, again, I was talking about an event in LA tomorrow. And at that event, there was an event yesterday as well. And so all these creators are kind of like at them. these creators talk to each other constantly and everything spreads. So especially within the agency world, we need to be we need to look out incredibly well for our creators because that stuff spreads like crazy. So if people think like, oh man, working with social commerce clubs sucks, that is going to spread through everything. Very same for brands. So really look out for that. I think one of the things that I want you guys to all understand is that this is like high school, right? If you can understand and you can think about high school and how fast stuff spreads. But by the way, does anyone else here have kids? When I think about virality, I try to ignore viral things like just all the time. But one of the things recently that has gone through like a viral thing is this dumb 6-7 thing. Anyone else have kids that like this is going through? I feel like such an old person when this comes through. If no one live has it, I'm going to feel like incredibly old. But hearing this is just like crazy. When you think about how fast that, oh good, I got someone reacting. When I think about like what virality looks like, it is the same thing within these creator communities. It diffuses and permeates so fast when a brand treats creators poorly. And so that's just like my big thing is like, look out for that. And guys, just, I know there's a bunch more questions here. I'm going to be getting into those in a minute. All right. So here's what they actually value. And Nivi, this will help answer your question. Number one is free shipping on all orders. That was something, and I talked about that with Anna Casey, and since talking with Anna Casey about that, I've asked other creators, and they say they won't even look at a product that doesn't have free shipping. So what can you do? Well, you need to up your price, right? They would much rather have a higher priced item with free shipping than have an item that does not have free shipping, but is a lower price, right? It is a really, really big deal to do that. And so making sure that you've got free shipping on every single order is super important. Now, I saw this with the Ninja lately. If you guys go into Fastmoss, take a look at what Ninja is doing. And I highly recommend, again, this is like another like sort of pro tip here, spend a ton of time researching on Fastmoss to understand what is actually working. Look at the people that are crushing, and it is not by accident. They didn't just like happen to like get into this viral sort of sensation. They have a system. It is the same system that we use as Social Commerce Club because our team is constantly looking and figuring out what is actually working, because we work with like massive brands. We just actually had two, like, I can't wait to tell. I hope that I get permission to talk about some of these because they're like super fun. And really high GMV as well, which is really, really exciting. I'm excited to show people like high GMV totally works on TikTok Shop, but you have to have these principles down first. So free shipping on all orders is really important. I saw Ninja do this, right? They almost doubled the price of their cooler, and their cooler just took off. It was crazy because the creators that were there are making massive amounts of money on this cooler. And I think that that's why it has taken off so much. So they were able to double it, get rid of any of the shipping charges. And that's what really, really worked. Now, dollar per sale commission floors. Nivi asks, and I'm just going to throw this question up here. All right. What is an acceptable dollar per sale amount that makes it worth a creator's effort? So what I have heard in basically every single community is minimum $5 per sale. So if you can offer $5 per sale, whatever you need to do to get there. So my suggestion is, if you have, and I've talked to a lot of people that have this, is that the idea is that you want to be able to bundle as much as humanly possible to get up to around the $50 mark. Now, if you're at $50, right, and you offer a 10% commission, again, we're at $5, right, per sale. But again, even if you go up to that 15% mark on organic, even like my suggestion is like go even higher, right? Like that's really, really important, is to like go as high as possible when it comes to this, especially at the beginning and especially on organic. Now, it's okay to lower your price. I think I just want everyone to understand, like it's okay to lower your commission level. Sorry, I'm here to lower your commission level on some of these on your ad specifics. So you have two different types of commission structures, right? You've got your ads commission, and then you've got your organic commission. Be as generous as possible on your organic commission. Creators will see that and they'll want to work with you. Simple, clear creative briefs is really important. Do not make creators go through like mass amounts, especially at the beginning. Now, as you get them more and more into your community, and if they're doing well, what I would do is start picking off the best ones and let them know, hey, look, we love you in our like VIP creator community. With that, though, we do need you to go through a bit of a training program. And I would highly suggest putting them through a training program. If you guys have not listened to the NeuroGum episode on open residency, go into Spotify right now or whatever, wherever you listen to your podcasts, and save that one for later. It's really, really important to hear what they did at NeuroGum, because NeuroGum has basically flipped their entire marketing on its head. All that they are doing right now is TikTok Shop, and they're basically just using retargeting everywhere else to funnel everything in. And then making sure that there's fast sample turnaround times is really important. Just like as soon as possible, get those samples out there. Okay, I have a million questions I'm going to get to here. Let's go here. All right, so Sam says double the price would be incredible, but our product is already expensive, at least for that category anyways. Yes, not everyone can go and double their price. So my suggestion is not to go double your price. My suggestion is to bake in the shipping cost. I think that's just a no-brainer. Today, I think for D2C, that's a no-brainer in general, though please test it. I highly suggest testing it, because there's a lot of people who have tested free shipping versus not, and it hasn't made like zero difference. And also that extra shipping charge has been able to be really great padding on their margins, which is great. And I always suggest trying to pad your margins as much as possible. Okay, I have got some more questions here. Ooh, Samantha, advice to prepare for BFCM. My suggestion is to get products into as many creators' hands as possible right now. Now, some people will tell you like, oh yeah, creators, they're not taking on new products. No, that is not true. They are absolutely taking on new products right now. So do not listen to that. That is just like really bad advice. My suggestion is to, as much as possible, be able to have offer as much as you can to creators, right? So offer as much commission as possible to creators. I think that's really important before BFCM. And then try to get them into a group, right? Get them off the platform. So this is advice that I give every single time. I feel like I'm a broken record sometimes, but getting them off the TikTok platform is so important. My suggestion is always WhatsApp. I just think WhatsApp is like, is the easiest possible way to get a hold of people. It's funny. I run this playbook for kind of everything where I'm like, okay, I want to build a community. I'm going to get them off here, try and get them into WhatsApp. And now we can actually talk one-on-one and create a community. Again, community is not one-to-many. I do not suggest doing anything that's one-to-many with creators. What I suggest is one-on-one. So one-to-many would be like an SMS list. That's fine. Like I still like SMS lists, but I really love community, because then the creators take care of a lot of it themselves. It can be super simple. It can just be like one single Slack. I was going to say Slack channel. So Slack pilled from over the years. So if you are able to get them into just a single channel, that's great. Again, you can do Discord too. I know a lot of people disagree with me on this. I just don't think Discord works in the same way. I think that people are like, it's like similar to being in like a million Slack groups. It's like, there's only a few Slack groups that I actually pay attention to. And I think it's the same thing with Discord versus WhatsApp is a lot more like a text message between friends. And that's usually where you're going to be spending. I know that WhatsApp can get a little bit spammy. Somebody asks again what podcast that was again. And I will try to link, for people watching this on YouTube, I'll try to link that podcast down below. And I'm actually going to try and have an interview with the founder of NeuroGum, just because I think it's just such a good podcast. So it's Open Residency, for those of you guys who have not ever listened to that podcast. I actually love it. Yeah, somebody actually live here right now is linking it, and we'll link it again in the comments, or sorry, in the description of the YouTube video. So for those of you guys who are there, really, really great questions so far. Okay, let me just give this, because this is a very good question. So for a brand new product, if we import reviews and says imported an external reviewer, does that affect sales and traffic from a brand new product with no previous sales history? No, not at all. If anything, it's going to affect it in a good way. So that is part of our the way that we do things at Social Commerce Club as well. The very first thing that we're doing is hooking up to a review platform. Here's the funny thing too, is like if they if one of the review platforms does not have a TikTok shop integration, we actually just go get Judge Me. It's like $17 a month, and you can import all of your reviews over for $17 a month. Again, I think in software there is like a huge amount of apps that could be made that are just like the Judge Me version of that. That's what we're doing for analytics with Halo. We're trying to go as like cheap as humanly possible, because I just love that way of doing things. I think it's great, and going out to the masses, right? And so you could just get Judge Me, no affiliation with them, because how could they for $17 a month have an affiliation with anyone? I highly suggest taking those reviews, importing them in. It's totally fine if it's an external review. It's still going to be better than you having nothing on your products. At least they can see that there's a bunch of external reviews. That's the important part. So, all right. Okay, I've got a bunch of questions just so everyone knows. Stick around here, and we're going to continue to get into it. Okay, so Saketh, we've already answered that. Ooh, very good question here. One of my favorite questions to answer. What benefits do you give to affiliates that join your VIP group? So really, at the end of the day, the sky is the limit. Let's get into a few different things. So number one is contests. That's a really, really fun one. So think about your marketing. I want everyone to start thinking about TikTok Shop in terms of CPMs. So for those of you guys who aren't familiar with what CPMs exactly mean, it's cost per 1,000 impressions, right? The really cool thing about TikTok Shop, so you see this all over Meta, right? Your cost per 1,000 impressions are not necessarily the same, because the frequency, the amount of people who are seeing your ads is generally a lot higher on Meta, right? Meta is really good at like just nailing the same people and not necessarily getting out, unless you kind of understand how to do that, with getting out to a bigger crowd. What you are looking for, and the reason that TikTok Shop is so incredible, is that it's top of funnel. And so this is a long-winded way of me telling you that the more that you can invest in your creators, the more top of funnel traffic that you're going to get. So just do the math, right? So let's say that you run a contest. Now here's a little secret, by the way. Millennial moms crush on TikTok Shop. What's one thing that millennial moms love to do? They love to take their kids to Disneyland. I know, I think I've used this one before, but it's true. I am married to a millennial mom. I know these things. Let's just say they like to take their kids to some sort of theme park. We'll call it Disneyland, right? Now, if you ran, let's just say a $5,000 trip. I don't even know if you could do that, a $5,000 trip to Disneyland, but let's say if you lived in that area, you could do it for $5,000. You run a $5,000 trip to Disneyland and you get 100 creators in there. Now, for them to be able to do it, you say, hey, look, you're part of our VIP group. Whoever posts 100 videos this month is going to get entered to win the trip to Disneyland. Let's just say 20 of them do it, right? Guys, that's 2,000 videos. 2,000 videos for $5,000. Think about that. Just think about that. Let's say that each one of those from your VIP creators only gets 1,000 views, right? So we're at 2,000 videos times 1,000. I can't even do that math right now. It's an insane amount. I think that's 2 million views, right? All day I would pay $5,000 for that. So like, just do the math. Do the math. Now, Max, good question, Max. Glad you're here. Whichever Max you are, I'm glad you're here. How do I avoid creators gaming the system and posting 100 faceless, crappy videos? That's a really good question. You can, again, within your VIP group, you could have stipulations of the types of videos that they need to post for that. That's totally something that you can do. You can do whatever you want. Remember, like we have within this is such a new way of doing things. D2C in general, you can do whatever you want. If you want to have and run the contest and let people know these have to be face to camera videos. Awesome. That's totally fine. Do they have to be high production value? I don't recommend doing that. I don't recommend like high production value for everything. It's actually fun. A little aside here. I actually hired a halftime videographer with me and doing high production value stuff. It is so different than doing like stuff like this. Oh my gosh. So I highly suggest letting them just do like face to camera, like tell them, it should be face to camera, or it should at least be 30 seconds longer, whatever you want. But at the end of the day, like even faceless videos do fairly well. I would say no AI videos when it comes to that, because you can do those yourself. And that'll be like something I get into at some point soon too. I think that we're definitely in that phase where like cranking out AI videos is probably a good idea from a marketing account. It's something we do at Social Commerce Club. Again, a little bonus for everyone here. So we're actually now creating marketing accounts that all point towards your TikTok shop. So they're not necessarily affiliated, but they're these marketing accounts that are all over the place. So that's kind of what I suggest when it comes to that. The incentives can be whatever you want to get people into your group, but telling them like I would suggest putting all of your marketing dollars towards something big. So again, just using the example of the Disneyland trip, I would highly suggest doing that rather than having people a bunch of little prizes. I'd much rather have one big prize that everyone's like, oh man, that's the thing I want. Like, look at Mr. Beast, right? Just emulate what Jimmy does constantly. It's always a big prize. What else do people love? Teslas. Can you afford a Tesla? I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of money, but at the end of the day, if you're going to get 40 million views from it, it's not much at all. You have to be thinking in terms of effective CPMs. And I will tell you that TikTok is the best place to get these effective CPMs and then be able to use that content across all different platforms. And that's a really cool thing. All right. So, and again, if you guys are not in the school group, TikTok Shop OS, I actually have within there, I've got a really good custom GPT that does the calculations for you on like all of this kind of stuff, like with CPMs and stuff like that. You can also just use ChatGPT and just like, you just have to like have a massive prompt for it. But I've got some custom GPTs within there that will actually help you calculate all of these numbers. So hopefully that is helpful for you guys. All right, Sam, you are asking awesome questions. Which Sam is this, by the way? This seems like a smart Sam. This is Sam I know. I think we need to redo our program. We get a lot of low GMV creator sample requests and then terrible videos that don't do any sales. Yeah, totally. So you stopped approving sample requests altogether. Yes, this is like the death spiral of TikTok Shop when that happens. So yes, what I suggest doing is first of all, offering more higher percentage of GMV to creators. What I suggest also is like, this is something we're even doing at Social Commerce Club. We have an unreal group of creators, but we're actually going and paying to be a part of other groups to be able to pick off some of those high GMV creators. The whole idea here, Sam, is the reason that you're getting really crappy videos out of them. And also, Sam, can you let me know what industry you're in? Because that actually also helps a lot. The reason why you are getting crappy videos is most likely you're just not, you don't have enough GMV on your store yet. So it's like chicken and egg kind of idea. And within specific SKUs, you might not have enough GMV on those SKUs or reviews. And people are looking at it, and the majority of the good creators are like, and especially if you're in anything that's sized, that's also a little bit difficult. So my suggestion is to redo your whole strategy when it comes to this, right? I wouldn't say stop giving samples. You are going to, like every single brand that I've seen. I've done some like consulting with brands off the agency just because we're expensive at Social Commerce Club. We work with like bigger brands. And so I've done just a little bit of consulting with brands and seen this like always at the beginning. There's always really crappy videos that they get until they start to find their people. And once they start finding their people, it is really just a numbers game. So if you can afford to be sending these samples out, what I would do is like, even as the owner, the founder, I would at first be going through and I would just be making Loom videos constantly of how you're making the decisions and then hand that off to your agency or to your VA or whoever that is. Oh, and by the way, if anyone wants incredible TikTok Shop VAs, my old executive assistant started a Filipino staffing agency. And these people are phenomenal. She has used a bunch of my training programs to be able to train them up for people who want them. So if you guys want, get a hold of me on X or on LinkedIn, or if you guys have my email, it's jordan@socialcommerceclub.com. Get a hold of me and I'll introduce you to Noreen. And she is training up a bunch of people right now. So that if you guys want to run things yourself, that she's got some amazing VAs that can do some of this for you. But my suggestion, Sam, is to go through and show your assistants or whoever it is what good looks like, right? So every single sample request, so I would like go in and look and be like, okay, did they make a good video similar to my category? I'd also go into FastMoss and start looking at some of your competitors and be like, okay, what makes those videos good, right? A lot of times it's just hard to communicate and articulate what is actually good and what you actually want. And that's why for me, I love the talking through a lot of this. And so I just use Loom constantly and talk through this stuff, then put it into ChatGPT, get it to like create, a bigger sort of like idea of like, this is actually what I'm looking for. Here's the certain things. Lighting is really important, right? Lighting, by the way, is like probably the most important thing. Lighting and sound, right, are those two things that really set people apart, right? So if they can get their sound right, even if like people are using, like if you see them using like this kind of thing, this is like the DJI mics. They look like this. If you see someone using something like this, you can just tell that they're like just beyond, like if you see them with one of those on, you can tell that they're just like better than the rest, right? If people are thinking about those little things. So this really great interview, by the way, if you guys search on YouTube, this really great interview with Stephen Bartlett, Diary of a CEO, on Jimmy Fallon, where he talks about these little things that he does. And I think every single brand owner there needs to watch this, because it's really important. That's like they sweat the small stuff. And he thinks that if you sweat the small stuff, that all the big stuff happens. And so this is one of those examples where like sweating the small stuff in the types of creators that you're looking for and what you want out of a creator, and the bar that you are trying to set for creators is super important, Sam. So that is my suggestion there. I hope that helps you in some sort of way. Nivi. Man, we got a lot of great questions today. Do you know what the average conversion rate is on TikTok Shop? I can tell you, I've looked at a ton of accounts, and 0.5 is like a number that I see quite often, even on good accounts, which is wild. So we have some accounts that are getting up more into like the 1% sort of range. But again, you got to remember this massive halo. Again, we're going to be measuring this halo at, you guessed it, Halo. It is growhalo.ai, by the way, for anyone interested. We haven't launched yet, but if anyone's interested, again, reach out to me. All right, let's get into a couple more questions. For new brands, is running, okay, I'm going to put this one up here. For new brands, is running email campaigns along with outreach on Reacher going to make a difference in terms of high GMV creators wanting to work with us because we are giving out 50% commission? I don't think it hurts. Will they actually respond to you? Probably not on email. Trying to get a hold of them. I've got a bit of a better tip for you. Is trying to get a hold of them on Instagram DMs is probably a better way to do it. So if you have their Instagram DM, I think that reaching out to them over there is a really good idea, especially these creators. They're constantly checking their requests because in there comes a lot of paid collabs, especially on Instagram. And so that's like part of like what they're doing. So I would suggest trying that first. That's probably the best way that I would suggest, and a bit of a hack for you guys. All right. What are some creator platforms that we can go and get these high GMV creators? Does Incense work? Incense is great. Oh my gosh, what is one of my other ones there? Ian Sells owns it. Join Brands. Join Brands is another really good one. Join Brands. Now, there's a really cool hack on Join Brands as well, is that there is a way on Join Brands for people, and I think that Incense has this too. I know both those guys. Daniel's awesome, who owns Incense. Highly suggest. I mean, Incense and Join Brands are like really great beginner ways to be able to get into both of these. So really suggest you guys going and checking both of those platforms out. But one of the cool things that I know Join Brands has, I'm not sure if Incense has it or not, is the ability to reimburse creators for actually buying the product. So say you work with like 300 creators there. Well, you're going to get 300 sales right away. Now they take a little, I think it's like a 15% commission on top of the sale. That's sort of how Join Brands makes a bit of money. But that is a really, really good way to be able to do it right there. So hopefully that helps you guys with some of those ideas. It's awesome. I see that like the majority of everyone has stayed on for this whole thing so far. All right. Can you share a structured approach on how to identify and reach out to the right creators? The process feels very manual and not analytical. Nivi, you're asking some really good questions today. Thank you. Yes, this is where my friends at Reacher come in. So I have made multiple videos with the guys at Reacher, actually going through and talking about how to do this. So off of, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, I'll make sure to drop this in. For any of you guys in school, I'm going to drop that video again because I think that it's like a really, really good thing to look at. But It does not need to be scattershot at all. On Reacher, they have incredible AI filters, first of all. So that's something that Bora and I talked about a few times ago on one of these calls. So we actually were going through and looking at like what the AI can actually do. So it uses AI vision to be able to actually look and see what people are posting about, not what they say. So versus like right now on TikTok, the problem is you don't necessarily know which kind of creators you're going to get. Reacher has all those capabilities built into it. So my suggestion is go and use a tool like Reacher, spend the money on it. Like it's highly, highly worth that. They're not even that expensive. And it is going to save you so much heartache with sending out too bad samples. And set up those automations first. That's how you're really going to get traction at the beginning rather than going and doing everything manual on TikTok. There is so number one, look into your category. Number two, and this is kind of like the step-by-step here that I would do. Number two, make sure that they actually have a certain amount of GMV already on their handle within the last 30 days. I suggest at least $1,000 of GMV. If they haven't done $1,000, like I don't think that they're worth working with. I would even suggest reach out to like ones that have $50,000 plus. Those are the ones that are considered high GMV. I think that's a really important thing to be able to do. So the process can feel manual, but I think that once you look at the Reacher dashboard, you'll actually find that it's not very manual, and you can be very analytical with all of that stuff. So I hope that helps you guys watching. Daryl, I heard creators are being taught. Ooh, sorry. This is a really, really good question, Daryl. I heard creators are being taught to get retainers for content now as part of deals. Are you seeing most creators requiring retainers in commission, or creators accepting affiliate commissions only from a brand? Which one is the best setup in your opinion? If there was a creator on this call with me, I'd say like, okay, maybe. I suggest do not go down the commission route. That is the beautiful thing about TikTok Shop, is that you don't need to pay retainers, right? It's a win-win. You don't need to pay retainers, but I would pay retainers for certain things, Daryl. And this is what I would pay them for. Number one, I would pay them when there is the ability for them to post on your brand handle. Then I would pay a retainer. I would pay a retainer if it's a creator that you're like, hey, this person could make like great content. I would do deals with like chunks of videos that you can also use across different platforms. But at the end of the day, I would let them know before paying a retainer. I'd say, hey, if any of your videos do well, we also have a deal, and you can use Refunnel for this. Again, big fan of Refunnel. You can use Refunnel for this, where you can identify them on TikTok Shop and say, hey, we'd also love to pay you a percentage of either sales or ad spend on Meta. And that's the really cool thing, right? That you can do that. I would incentivize them with that. I would always incentivize with percentages and the ability. And what I would do is, once you have one home run, use that as your sort of guidepost to be like, hey, we had a creator that actually made like $5,000 last month on Meta alone because we spent 100,000 on their particular ad. So that's one way to do it. Niviam, I'm going to actually get to that question right now, because I think that kind of goes along with this. Can I incentivize with sales on Amazon? Absolutely, right? Through, oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember through which program, but just ChatGPT it or whatever, Grok it, whatever you want to do. But yes, you can absolutely do that. There's a lot of ways that you can go around doing that through the partner program at Amazon. You can absolutely do that. There's some third-party tools, and I probably should know those better than I do. But as you guys always know, I'm not going to lie to you, just whatever. That's something that I will look into and get back to you on in the future. I think that there's like some third-party tools that make it a lot easier. Also through Like to Know, they have a lot of that built in as well. So LTK, if you guys ever go and look into that, that's another really good way to do it as well. And a lot of creators are on there as well. And Stack Influence does it. It's a gray area. Yeah, there's a lot of gray areas in a lot of this. But yes, that's a really good way to do that. Very good question. I have not listened to you talking about live shopping much. Do I think it's worth it? Yes, I absolutely do. I just, as far as the 80-20 of things right now, I have not focused on live shopping. And the reason is I don't see it taking off nearly as much as it did in Asia. Will it take off? Absolutely. Have we seen massive live shopping effects? No, not nearly as much as we do with like with the evergreen content that we put out there. I have had so many people asking about live shopping stuff lately. We have an entire program at Social Commerce Club all about it. I am going to do an entire session on live shopping for you guys. I'll try and do that actually on the next one of these sessions together, because so many people are asking about it. So I'll make sure to do that. All right, guys. I think this is gonna be our last question here. What GMV would you consider a retainer deal? I've had some with $500 30 asking for a retainer. No, I would not do that. If they have 100,000, maybe 200,000 of GMV, absolutely, you know that they're going to crush for you. I'd be like, yeah, absolutely. I'll pay you $200 if you do 5 videos, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, they are going to make way more money without a retainer deal. But that little retainer, like I would just do it for like massively high GMV creators. And that is the way to go. Again, we got through 4 of about 15 slides today. So much to talk about when it comes to TikTok Shop. Guys, please feel free to reach out to me. By the way, I've decided to take on 2 more personal consulting brands. So if anyone out there is thinking like, Jordan, I'd love to have you once every couple of weeks. I am going to take on a couple of those brands. So feel free to reach out to me, LinkedIn, Twitter, or jordan@socialcommerceclub.com. I'm going to be very, very picky and choosy, just because I don't have a lot of time, but I really love doing this. So thank you, everyone. Drop any of your extra questions into school as well, if you guys are within the school group. And yeah, really, really appreciate all of you. And thanks, Nivi. I'm just going to throw this on the stream here. This was fab. Thank you. That's all I needed from today. So appreciate you guys all so much. And we'll see you guys on the next one.